Hello, this is John from linuxslate.com and carcynic.com, and we're going to do a unboxing here. We're going to do finally unbox. It's been a while. We've been unboxing some other things, radiation detectors and other cool stuff. Check out the channel. We actually have a Linux Slate to review on linuxslate.com today. Remember, all Android phones and tablets are Linux Slates, so that's what we call them here. And this is an Android phone. What I'm going to review here today, hopefully, it's a real unboxing. I don't know what actually showed up in the box, but this is the new Xiaomi Qin2, and I hope I'm saying that right. It's a budget phone from Xiaomi's consumer branch, which now that I've hit record can't think of the name of, but it's basically a small phone. It's intended for young people, students. It's an inexpensive phone. It sells for under $100 equivalent. Over in Europe, cost me a little bit. Over in the Orient, cost me a little bit more than that to get it here in the United States. It's my belief that this is the first unboxing and checkout of this phone actually in the United States. I'm going to be using it on a U.S. carrier, on T-Mobile specifically. One interesting thing, this little explanation here. I know they say you should get right into the unboxing, but the things we review here are a little bit different and sometimes require a little bit of an explanation. I'm kind of interested in 21:9 or wider than 2:1 screens. You see my Toshiba laptop here is a widescreen netbook that I've had for many years. I like the widescreen. I like the fact that you get a fairly large screen area on a small device. It's exactly the same thing on some of the newer phones. We have a Sony Xperia here, and that is the same philosophy, to have a thin device with a lot of screen area. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. The new Xperia 1 is essentially an $800 to $1,000 phone. What if you want the benefits of the widescreen? You want to check out a widescreen, but perhaps you don't want to drop $1,000 on a phone. This might be a phone to look at. So let's do the unboxing, see what we've actually got here. We're going to come back after we've actually used it. Obviously, my SIM card is not going to be in it here when we do the unboxing. So we will we'll come back with another follow-up video and a report once we've got the SIM card in and actually used it on the carrier. There is some discussions about the frequencies that the chip in this phone supports for the US frequencies. There does seem to be some, but not ideal, overlap with the frequencies that T-Mobile uses. So we'll report on signal and availability and all that in the actual review, which will be a separate video, so make sure you check back. It's Qin AI Life. That's reference to an AI. One cool feature that this phone also has is infrared. Some people say it's a smart remote with a phone feature. Now that's really cool. Look at that thing. That's pretty narrow, even compared to the Sony. And it's got, that's kind of funny, it's in Chinese, but it tells you what each feature is. This is the AI button they advertise. I don't know how that's going to work here in the States, because I believe that there is, you know what I've peeled off the screen protector that they give you, as well as, oh well, I might have rendered the screen protector they give you kind of unusable now. We'll try to get the bubbles out later. That's kind of a funky way they do that right there. So we'll decide if we have to lose that or not. Basically, going around the phone, don't expect super high-end features like stereo or anything like that. All it does look, well, you've got an earpiece here, microphone and loudspeaker down here, USB-C connection. Basically the same layout as a lot of phones, volume control on the side, the so-called AI button, we'll look into the function of that, power buttons here, they've also got a shield over here, single camera, and this is kind of also important, again, budget phone, It does not have a front camera. So there is no camera. No, you don't have to worry about a bezel or a notch or whatever. It simply does not have a phone. Let's go ahead and plug some power into it. I like to always make sure we get them on charge before, and we'll check out what else is in the box. Actually, there's no sign here yet that it's charging. What else is in the box? Oh, look at that, pretty nice red, looks like good quality cable. There we go, it's booted up and it's at 50% charge. Battery should be shipped at 50%. Looks like a nice quality USB cable for a device like that. It does come with, kind of plain, but it does come with a protective case. You know, even something very thin like this will absorb the energy of an impact if you drop it. So that's a nice little thing that they give you there. Put these things here. There's a SIM poker here. We'll be using that to put our SIM card in. And as I would expect, a very brief getting started. I don't speak Chinese, but I'd be willing to bet that that says getting started. There is no English supplied with it, and I certainly expect when I boot it that it's going to be in Chinese. It does have a flash, which is good because not only for low light photography, but that means I'm also pretty sure that it has a a basic flashlight feature, which is a handy thing to carry. See if we can boot up here. There's a really tiny notification light here. It does have the basic features you expect from a phone. It has vibration. This is also running a special version of Android that is made for low power, low CPU power devices, and devices with 1 gig or approximately 1 gig of RAM. And this phone does have 1 gig of RAM. We'll have the full specs in the review, the processor that it uses, and maybe I need to do some research just here to get it to power up. That's the infrared port right there, and I'm not sure if that's the second mic. SIM tray with the SIM poke hole is on this side. I already covered what's on the bottom, so let's see if we can get it to boot here. So this is a version of Android 9, but like I said, it's a special version of Android that's meant for very low CPU power, very low capability devices. I really like the tiny size of this. To be honest with you, when I bought this phone, I was looking for one of those tiny phones with little Nokia replicas or something like that. And I saw this, and I said, that's really cool to have a tiny, again, everything is set to Chinese here. So we might have a little problems with the setups here. I may have to do a little translation. It does have English. We can get to the menu. We will be able to set it to English here. I just have to find settings. Oops. So the AI button seemed to be what actually got it to power. I don't know that there's I have no idea what that is. I don't see the equivalent of a home button, so I'm kind of stuck here. That looks like standard Android. Might have to cut away here. I'm not sure if I'm in the browser. Okay, we're back here and definitely made a couple improvements in it right quick. First of all, I was able to get it into English. That is in settings, system. The first one, it'll be, of course, this will all be in Chinese. The first one is about this AI assistant. Notice they call it an AI assistant, not a phone or whatever. The second one is language and input, so you'll be seeing Chinese. You'll have to type on it blindly. The first one is languages, and as you see that English will be one of the choices. And once you do that, most things, like right here, not everything, most things will be in English. Something that was also really helpful for me, kind of old school Android user, if you will, virtual buttons. It was set to this full screen gesture, so once you get it in English, I put it back to multitasking, desktop return, default virtual buttons, the old regular Android way of doing things. As you can see, the font's really small, but the screen looks excellent to me. One definite thing about this phone is it is Google free, so it is an Android phone, but it does not have Google Play. Also, if you go in here, settings, accounts, at least from what I can see here, I don't see anything for me to add my Google account to it. So I believe that it's possible, like a lot of these devices, to install the Play Store and Google Play services. May not want to do that. It might be a really good exercise to go through for somebody that's wanting to go Google free and still have the advantage of an Android smartphone. It's a really inexpensive way to be able to introduce you to go on Google Play without dropping a lot of money on a more expensive phone. So one other just kind of thing I noted here is that the actual phone app, how they talk about it, is a quote AI assistant or smart remote. The phone is buried down here, and others at the bottom of the list is the actual phone app. Now, like I said, don't have my SIM card in it yet. It does appear to have a pretty standard browser, that it's functional. It has a lot of the other basics. Also, a lot of the built-in apps, I was able to remove them. It is possible that none of the apps are hard-coded on the firmware. Again, some Chinese here. I don't know what this is, perhaps some sort of a search. But a couple of the Chinese apps I was able to remove just by holding and then selecting remove. So we're going to do a little bit more research, perhaps adding the Google apps and actually using it as a phone, and we will have that in the review for you. Thanks very much. Please subscribe. We have a lot of cool and interesting different devices here. Oh, one other note before I sign off here is I peeled this off of the back of it. This is very important. This has your EMEI on it. So if you do peel it off the back, make sure you keep it. The other thing is I was able to wipe out all the little bubbles in the screen protector with an alcohol wipe. The screen protector is pretty sensitive to fingerprints, as you can see here, but I was able to use the screen protector. So I'm actually looking forward to kind of using it. It's a really cool little device for the price, and look back for a fuel review on the website or in the notes below. We'll post the URL for that. Thanks very much.